Thank you very much. And now it's my privilege to introduce to you the former United States Secretary of Homeland Security and former Governor of the state of Pennsylvania, Tom Ridge.
Hello, thank you. We've come a long way together. We haven't reached the top of the mountain. We have to keep climbing. Are you ready to climb? I say to my government, and you are not a friend of the MEK. One of the extraordinary things that has happened over the past couple of years is my country, beginning with the surrender of their weapons by the men and women of the MEK, have given these men and women, these soldiers for freedom, promises, public promises, repeated promises. They began when they surrendered their weapons, and we assured them that they would be protected under the Geneva Convention as protected persons. It has continued up until a couple of months ago, when even after they moved to Camp Liberty, they were assured by the government of the United States of America, assured that we would provide for their safety and security. We made you a promise. We haven't kept it. You have been betrayed. We gather today to call for action, to plead to the United States and to the Western world loudly, clearly, and consistently support the democratic opposition in Iran, the MEK, and provide for the safety and security of the men and women at Liberty and Ashraf. It's a call to action. It's a call to keep a promise, a bond once made between like-minded democratic people. Because for all of us who love freedom, for all who fight for democracy, the shared bond and values of liberty run deep. No matter how ruthless and violent this despotic, repressive regime in Tehran and its allies may be, it will never, never sear from the hearts and minds of the MEK the aspiration, the dream, the goal to live in a free, tolerant, compassionate, open, and democratic Iran. Iraq and Iran can conspire to imprison, exile, torture, rocket, murder the men and women of Ashraf and Liberty, but they will never, and I repeat, never, extinguish or terminate their commitment to a cause greater than themselves. They are freedom fighters, and we must continue to climb on their behalf to reach the pinnacle of the mountain, but there are 2 more steps to go. You've assembled representatives from, they've said, 40 or 50 countries, with the presidents of citizens and public officials from around the world. The UN Declaration of Human Rights reminds us that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and in right. My own country's Declaration of Independence is very relevant to our gathering today, where it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among those are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." And for this gathering today, we take inspiration from the words and message of Madame Rajvi, who has said, "Freedom is the most precious of all jewels. Freedom is the source of progress." For us, freedom is an ideal, it is a belief. The people of Camp Liberty need to know that those of us who enjoy the blessings of liberty and freedom are united in support of their heroic and courageous quest for freedom. They need to know that their cause is our cause. May God be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'd like to now call up 3 representatives who have served in the U.S. government. Undersecretary Philip Crowley, who served, among other things, as Special Assistant to the President for National Security and as Assistant Secretary of State. Also, Ambassador Mitchell Reese, former Director of Policy and Planning at the State Department, and Ambassador Mark Ginsburg, who was U.S. Ambassador to Morocco and is a former Deputy Senior Advisor to the President of the United States for Middle East Policy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, in most countries, in my country, when there's an election, there's a sense of renewal, a sense of hope or change. Now, did anyone feel any hope for change coming out of what happened in Tehran? I didn't think so. The people of Iran faced an election with only one choice: more of the same. Now, as Bill Richardson mentioned, not only did the Guardian Council not allow Rafsanjani to run, they also did not qualify a clone of Ahmadinejad, although I can't fault them for that logic. But as we know, all of these candidates represented a regime, were handpicked by the regime that has driven Iran into a ditch through 35 years of leadership. But if there's a silver lining in this election, it was not what the candidates represented, it was the message that the people of Iran sent to the Ayatollah. We can do better. We want change. Now, we want a real choice. But what would that choice look like? Imagine a candidate who offered the people of Iran what they truly deserve. A candidate with a 21st century plan for Iran rather than a 10th century plan for Iran. A real choice would include a candidate who wants Iran to be a constructive actor and not a pariah. A real choice would be someone who believes that human rights and civil rights are more important than nuclear rights. Someone who understands the purpose of the state is to serve the people, not the other way around. Someone prepared to represent all Iranians, including not just the men of Iran, but also the women as well. Imagine equal opportunity in political, economic, and social life. No wonder the Ayatollah fears you. Do we know someone who might offer that kind of real choice to the people of Iran? Yes, we do. Now, think about it. Madam President, but don't you think? Something very important for one of the most influential countries in an important region in the world. Can Iran change? Yes, it can. Will Iran change? Change in Iran is inevitable. When will Iran change? That is the challenge of our generation. That is what brings us here. That someday, whether it's 4 years from now, 8 years from now, however long it takes, we will bring to the people of Iran a genuine vote for change. Thank you very much.
It's an honor to be with you today. Before I offer my formal remarks, I'd like to say in your native language, Man baroya azdas raftana jana and shanha dar kampa liberty besiyar mutaassaf hastam. Babe ameya dustan va khanavadhaya anha Tazliyat Migoyam. For years now, Madam Rajavi and all of you have been warning the world about the Islamic Republic of Iran's murderous ambitions. You've warned of Iran's efforts to increase its power and influence across the Middle East. We see that most noticeably today in Syria, arming the regime, training its security forces, mobilizing Hezbollah. Iran is interfering in other countries as well, not just Syria. It is interfering in Yemen, where it continues to arm extremists. It's interfering in Bahrain and the other Gulf states. It has persisted with a nuclear weapons program that violates its international commitments. And of course, Iran continues to violate the basic human rights of 75 million Iranians who only want to speak as they please, dress as they please, worship as they please, and create a better future for their children. All this you have been telling the world for years. You have exposed Tehran's lies and false promises. You have uncovered Tehran's secret nuclear weapons program. You have challenged Tehran by your public commitment to a democratic Iran based on the rule of law and at peace with its neighbors. Just by being here today, you have defied Tehran with your hope for a brighter future for your country that will one day be led by Madame Rajvi. And no one has been braver, no one has been more courageous than your friends and relatives and loved ones in camps Ashraf and Liberty. They are on the front lines of this battle against the mullahs, and they have paid a heavy price. After the recent election, we are now hearing calls for the United States to relax sanctions against the regime, and there is concern that the Obama administration may be heeding these calls. As you well know, nothing could be more dangerous. So I must ask you again, here, today, please continue to tell the world the truth about the regime in Tehran, the truth about the mullahs, the truth about the nuclear program, the truth about the massive violation of human rights. We need to hear your voice. The people of Iran need to hear your voice. The world needs to hear your voice. Thank you.
You have wasted no time here, however, to send an important message. I want you to understand one thing. For all of my colleagues who have been here tonight, we are so proud of you. We are so proud of the strength that you have shown today. You deserve our thanks for your courage and for your commitment to freedom. I want you to understand, when Patrick Kennedy's uncle, Robert Kennedy, went to South Africa decades ago, before Nelson Mandela was released, he said that to the people of South Africa, when you toss a stone in a pond, it sends ripples of hope and freedom. What you are doing is sending ripples and hope of freedom to the people of Iran. I want you to send an important message that everyone should hear in Camp Ashraf and Camp Liberty, that help is on the way. When Mayor Giuliani went to the people of New York after 9/11, on the day of 9/11, he said to them, help is on the way. When Governor Ridge took over the head of its Homeland Security Department, he told the American people, help is on the way. I want you to hear you say to the people of Iran, help is on the way. I want you to say to the people of Camp Ashraf, help is on the way. I want you to say to the world that you represent freedom for the people of Iran, and by telling them, help is on the way. Azadi Baraya Iran.
Thank you. We are coming close to the end, but I want to take this moment just to talk about what has happened here in this hall. Because I think we must not lose sight of the fact that the world was focused last week on elections in Iran. They were sham elections. They elected no one. They were not part of a free and democratic expression. But the world was watching. Today's gathering is the most decisive and loudest response to those elections. It says that the dictatorship ruling Iran does not, in fact, represent the Iranian people. And if you want to look at who does represent the Iranian people, look to those like Madame Rajvi, who, in fact, represents the aspirations of her people for freedom, for democracy, for freedom, for women as well as men. But I also think there is another audience that is very important to us, and that is not just the audience of world leaders and opinion makers. It is the people who are living in Camp Liberty and Camp Ashraf. They must know that we are with them. They must know that we are concerned about the criminal rocket attacks on those people that killed 2 and injured dozens of others. This cannot stand. We cannot allow this kind of bloodshed to continue. We must fight it. We must make our leaders understand this. And the only thing that will happen to be able to protect themselves is to remove them from liberty, send them back to Ashraf, where they have a city that they built with their own hands and where they can protect themselves. And when we demand that the world community provide for security and the minimum humanitarian provisions for the people who are still in Iraq, will we get our message across? And then our job will not be done, because our job will not be done until there is a free Iran, but at least we will have made progress toward that. Let me introduce one of our final speakers, and that is the founder and president of the Women's Forum for the Economy and Society, Aude de Thun.
Bonsoir, je vous remercie de votre accueil. Avec les élections récentes en Iran, on comprend encore plus le sens de cette journée. Et je ne reviendrai pas ici sur tout ce qui s'est dit sur les élections, mais je voudrais quand même vous faire part de mon étonnement dans ce pays, l'Iran, tel qu'il est dirigé aujourd'hui. De mon étonnement sur la place des femmes, enfin plutôt sur la non-place des femmes. Où sont-elles, celles qui s'expriment, comme Meriem Rejouy aujourd'hui, ici? Il faut donc vite, très vite se poser la question sur les femmes en Iran. Y aura-t-il des femmes dans l'organigramme du pays? La laïcité est la seule garante des droits civiques et des libertés, nullement une menace à l'identité musulmane. Les droits des femmes sont sans cesse bafoués ou remis en cause sous couvert de traditions ou de préceptes religieux. C'est pourquoi nous sommes ici aujourd'hui aux côtés de Madame Rejouy. C'est pourquoi je suis ici. Car malgré nos différences culturelles, nous sommes bien plus proches que nous ne le croyons. Nous ne devons plus accepter comme un fait acquis les discriminations que subissent les femmes dans le monde, mais lutter de leur côté, car nous sommes tous égaux. En étant ici aujourd'hui, en soutenant Madame Rejouy, en invitant plus de femmes à se mobiliser partout, les femmes peuvent défendre et porter un nouvel avenir. Je vous recommande de lire le livre de Madame Rejouy, et ainsi de main en main, de parole en parole, de soutien en soutien, l'Iran sera perçu comme il est, mais aussi et surtout comme il pourrait l'être demain, autrement, fièrement et en harmonie entre les hommes et les femmes. Je vous remercie.
And now it is my turn to thank all of you for coming, all of you who have listened to the speakers, all of those speakers from literally dozens of countries, members of parliament, dignitaries, members of government who stand in solidarity with you and with the people of Iran. Now it is time to reverse the injustice for the people of Camp Liberty, for those in Iraq, and most importantly for those in Iran who seek only freedom and democracy. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming.